Welcome to Fuzzybutts and Friends. Well, as much as it tries, Fuzzybutts just all over this crazy big world of ours, absolutely nuts. I'm the host of this show, Yer Big Dog, Luke Robinson, and we're happy to have back again this week. She's the executive director of the Puppy Up Foundation, Ginger Morgan. Ginger, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited about our current show.
Good. You're a little slow in your response. You weren't sleeping, were you? We have a show.
No.
Know that? All right. All right. We always like.
Nope, not.
Okay, you are freezing a little bit, so your fiber is slow for whatever technical reason. So just FYI. All right. Well, since I do, that's a good thing since I do most of the yapping on the show anyway. I think you're just here just to look good, just to make us look good. Well.
Oh, great. I love that.
Yes, you do. I know you do. And you do make us look good. So we're always glad to have you here. Well, Ginger, as you know, we're only about 42 days away from Walk 3, where Grayson and I are going to walk 300 miles from the Adirondacks up in upstate New York down all the way along the Hudson River down to New York City. And your big dog's getting pretty stressed about that. But you know, we've had some great companies step up and be a part of it. And we have one of those companies with us today. I'd like to introduce on this episode Linda Koh. She's the founder and the CEO of a wonderful company called Coolvio. We also have with us the marketing director. She's kind of the person that makes everything happen in the background. Her name is Remi Haygood. How are both of you today? Welcome to Fuzzybutts and Friends.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you for being a part of Fuzzybutts and Friends. I probably should ask each of you individually. I'm sure you'll learn very quickly. I'm not an expert host, but we are 26 episodes, I think, we're into this show. So I'll try to ask each of you questions individually so we're not talking on each other. We rarely actually have 4 people on this show, so it's great that both of you are with us for this episode. And Linda, I know you almost canceled last time, but I'm glad we were able to reschedule and get you here this time because you have with us a guest with you. So tell us, who do you have there?
This is Audrey loves belly rubs. This is Audrey, and she is really the inspiration for Coolvio. This is my baby, and I had her at the beach a couple of years ago. And she's got this black fur. We're always very careful about watching for any signs of overheating. And that day, she just got really hot really fast. And took us by surprise because it was April. It was early in the morning. And I thought I was going to ruin our day. And I'd heard about this technology of this fabric, and I had it with me. So I threw it on her to see what would happen because I knew what it was supposed to do, but I wasn't a true believer yet. And I threw it on there, and she perked up within a couple of minutes and just started playing and played hard the rest of the day, and it only got hotter. And so I just thought, this is amazing. This is a game changer. She was able to be out there longer with us, contacted the inventors of the patented technology in our fabric. And one thing led to another. And just to let you know, Remi is not only the marketing director, she's also co-founder with me. She and I put our heads together and came up with a pattern. And we searched out manufacturers all here in the USA, most of them in the Southeast, because we're in the textile district of the US. And we had a Kickstarter back in the earlier part of our beginning of our business, and one thing has led to another. We've got shirts on dogs all across the country and several other countries now. Keeps them cool and helps them stay healthy. And Remi, being the marketing expert, can tell you more about that.
That's simple. Let's stick with the fuzzy butt first. That's a lot. That's a lot, and it's a great story. But I like to stick with the origin story because even though we call ourselves Fuzzybutts and Friends, rarely do we actually have fuzzy butts on this show for some reason. Hint, hint. My co-producer Ginger Morgan. We need to work getting more fuzzy butts. So let's begin with Audrey. So is Audrey your kid? Is Audrey your kid, Linda?
Audrey is my kid. Come on up here.
How old is she?
She'll be 7 in October.
Okay, and how did she come to make you her pet parent?
I have a very good friend who is a doctor, but she's a huge animal lover, and she'll rescue puppies, pregnant strays, help them deliver. And Audrey, come on, you got to be on camera here. She's too excited about the ball. Come here, up here. She is one of the puppies of my friend, and we got her when she was just 8 weeks old and 2.5 pounds. I could hold her in my hands. First time I've ever adopted a puppy. I've always, adopted, but it's always been adult dogs. And so this was a very special time for me to raise a little puppy trainer, and it's a very special bond. And she's a natural athlete. She loves to be chasing a ball, frisbee, jumping, flipping, running nonstop. And so having something that she can be able to do like that longer outside with our shirts was just amazing.
Yeah, it's something else. Now, Remi, we always love to hear the origin story. I love the name origin story. So that's the origin story of Coolvio. But Remi, you were saying prior to starting the recording that you have a Chihuahua. Where's your kid today?
She's in the back, in the well, she's maybe running around here, but she doesn't do well on camera. But I have a Chihuahua. She's always she's also a rescue. She's actually on the Coolvio sizing chart, but and she loves her shirt. She likes to stay out in the sun a lot. So
what's her name? What's her name?
Taco.
Taco.
Yeah, she's a little Chihuahua.
Audrey and Taco. That's excellent. So both of you, the co-founders of this. So how did you connect? Did you know both of you? Did you know each other before you founded Coolvio? Remi, go ahead. Tell us the story.
Yeah.
Yes, connected.
So I have known Linda for a very long time. Very fortunate to have known her. I also own a side business, but and that's how I met Linda. She became a customer of mine, and then by trade, she's also a CPA. So I became a client of hers. So we've known each other for a very, very long time. We watched our daughters grow up. We were single moms at the time that I first met her, and we just had so much stuff in common. And one of the main things that we had in common is also we're dog lovers. I've always owned dogs when I've known Linda, and I've always known her to have dogs. So we just gotten closer over the years just through just being in our different relationships. But I'm very fortunate when she brought this idea of Coolvio to me, because I knew about that fabric technology. And when she presented the idea of us maybe starting this business together to help dogs, I just couldn't resist. I was just like, oh, this is great. I get to be in business now with you in another capacity. And just, like I said, she's been a friend for a long time. So couldn't ask for a better person to do this with.
Absolutely. Partnership is essential in business. It really makes the difference at times between success and failure. And when you have not only a good partner in business, but you also have one that has a shared respect and love and passion for pets, it certainly makes a difference in the world. I don't know how Ginger puts up with me sometimes here on the show, but she does, because I know I don't possess any of those qualities, and I'm kind of an irritating partner, I'm sure, at times. But at least my one redeeming quality, though, in life is I am a lover of the Fuzzybutts. So that's a beautiful origin story for Coolvio. Let's get back to this great technology and shirt of yours, Linda. You were speaking a minute ago about the patents. So what was it? So Audrey had this heat exhaustion incident. Then you put on the shirt and you did some due diligence. So what is it you found out about this shirt that makes it such a compelling technology for pet parents?
Well, so the shirt was designed by physicists in Charlotte that I knew before this, and specializing in the science of light, doctors in the science of light. And they developed the fabric specifically to convert sunlight and emit only red and near infrared light. And the purpose behind that is that range of light is the light that we actually need to support optimal cellular functioning. It's the light that gets absorbed into our body through clothing, through skin, through hair or fur. It's the light that sustains life. The difference between Earth and Mars is a very, very small difference in terms of the narrow range of light that we need for life. And so this fabric emits only that range of light. There are other wavelengths of light that we need. For example, UV light has vitamin D in it. We need it. But it's also the light that gets trapped in our skin, burns us, creates heat, and makes us uncomfortable. So with the fabric, you have the benefits of the healthy light. It converts sunlight, including the UV light, into this healthy light. So it's UV protection. And because it releases that light, it naturally has a cooling effect, which is so important for dogs that can easily be overheated because they're not efficient at cooling themselves in hot climates.
Yeah, that's something I can speak extensively about. I'm not sure how much, Linda, you know about my history, but to date, I've walked 4,000 miles for the cause of trying to understand why our canine companions are getting cancer and the same types of cancer that people are getting. And so my first walk was from Austin, Texas to Boston, Massachusetts. And so we left in March. So we got a big tail of the first part of our walk was in northern Texas and then Arkansas and then up through. And so we had heat exhaustion and heat stroke was a real threat for us. And it's something that I don't ever think that we were fully or appropriately protected from. So I don't think I set it up correctly in the intro, but you guys donated one of your wonderful Coolvio shirts for Grayson for Walk 3. And so thank you very much for that. Ginger has it right here to show it off. We got it. We wanted to show it off and do this episode. There you go. Aesthetically, it looks great too. So not only is
Exactly.
it not only does it provide therapy, but it also is a handsome looking shirt for Grayson. So we're gonna have when we drop this episode, we'll have pictures of Grayson wearing it, looking all handsome. But we know the risks. Fortunately, in this walk, we're going to be walking in September, October, and November, so we won't have that risk. We'll be exposed to other risks, what we'll get to in a minute. But at least we know, man, heat exhaustion and heat stroke can kill your canine kid. And in fact, recently I was in the ER with Grayson, unrelated, for heartworms, and there were 2 dogs that were in there. The temperatures were over 100 degrees, and both of them were heat stroke, suspected heat stroke patients. So how does that, let's start with the cooling aspect, because there are several layers from what I understand reading from your website and doing some due diligence of my own. There are several layers of protection and therapy that the Coolvio shirt provides. So Remi, why don't you break down for us, what is PAWS? I like that acronym. What is PAWS?
Yeah, so PAWS, we include this little insert that we call PAWS, and it basically is it's the abbreviation for plan, act, watch, and stay cool. Because even though our product does help with cooling, you still have to, be diligent in making sure your dog is not getting overheated. And so plan, like the P in plan, is just, make sure you have everything you need before you go out. Make sure you have your bArctic on. Make sure you have plenty of water. Make sure you have, you know where you're going. Make sure you just plan to make sure if there's any things to go bad, what you have or what you can do. Like have your veterinarian's phone number on handy. And then we have ACT. A is for ACT. So just once again, you just want to make sure when you see signs of overheating, you take action on that. You know what to do in order to prevent that. And watch is also, leaving your dogs unattended in a vehicle. You just want to make sure you watch all the things that you're doing to make sure your dog is safe. And then the S is for stay cool. So, make sure you stay hydrated, your pet stays hydrated, and you just have a fun day. So we just always want to make sure we educate our customers that even though the bArctic is great as an asset to help with cooling, you still need to make sure you pause and make sure you have all those things planned out. So
absolutely. Well, Absolutely. Is the bArctic shirt, is it prophylactic in that your dog is supposed to wear it prior to and during the activity, or is it only once they become overheated?
Well, you always want to go and put the bArctic on your dog before you go out. It's easier to keep a dog, have a dog stay cooler than to cool down a hot dog already. So you always want to have that shirt on, but it does help. Let's say if you don't have it on your dog and it's getting hot, you still can put it on your dog. And it's to stay on them. So basically it just, like Linda said, it converts that sunlight to red and infrared light. So your dog's fur is not heating up as it would if it did not have the shirt. So your dog is staying cool. It's like they're in a shade-like environment. So that's the best way to probably put it. So,
I like to say
that shirt on.
I like to say it's easier to keep your dog cool than to cool them down, just like it's easier to prevent a fire than to put a fire out.
Absolutely, that's absolutely correct. So, so the recommendation then is to put the shirt, the bArctic shirt on then prior to whatever activity that you're doing. So for us, let's just talk about, I like to keep things simple and apply them to sort of our daily life on the road. So we're going to be dealing with probably with temperatures in the mid 70s and 80s. So what I guess the first question is, what temperature zones or ranges do you recommend putting on the bArctic shirt? And then what type of activities do you recommend, or is it all activities that your dog engages in do you recommend? So what are sort of the guidelines? Walk me through as a pet parent as to, because we live in a crazy busy world, and adding any step to our daily lives that involves dogs, it costs us time. So I'm sure pet parents out there are wondering, before I reach for the bArctic shirt, when am I gonna need it, and when do I not need it? So Linda, walk us through that. When is a pet parent absolutely must have it, and when is it okay, we don't need it this time?
Okay, well, first of all, if it's hot outside, put the shirt on before going outside, because when we were doing, it was eye-opening when we did some infrared photos of Audrey for our website, that her fur would heat up to 145 degrees in a matter of a minute or two.
Wow.
So you think, you get hot in a few minutes of being out in the sun. Well, your dog's getting even hotter because their fur absorbs all of that heat, and they don't have any way to sweat like we do.
And I'm assuming,
so put it on before going outside.
Yeah, I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. Sometimes I have questions on my head, but so I'm assuming that that's got to be a lot higher. That temperature's got to be a lot higher than the surface temperature of humans. That 145 degrees. That's high.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's just from direct sunlight. I'm sorry. So that's just from direct sunlight on the fur.
Yes, yes, yes. So important to put it on before going outside. And it can be used for any activity, including when they're going to get wet. It doesn't interfere at all with the technology if the shirt gets wet. It actually just adds a little extra pop of cooling. So if you're really concerned, or if it's very hot out, you can get it wet and it will be even cooler through just natural evaporative cooling, which is how we cool ourselves. We sweat. As the sweat evaporates, it cools us down. So you can get wet. It's got kind of a stretchy swimsuit sort of material to it, and they can keep on going. It does dry out quickly, so you don't have to worry about it getting all saggy and baggy or making them uncomfortable. You can even just get a little bit of it wet with an ice cube or a little splash of water on their back, and it'll help a lot. But it's not necessary for the cooling to get it wet. It still works without water. And then as far as what time of year, so its most dramatic impact is in the heat. It has the cooling effect, but it's really actually temperature moderating. So even in the winter time when it's really cool, it's not going to make them cold. It's going to have it's going to be another layer of insulation to help keep them warm. And it's going to be like I don't know if you ever heard the analogy of when you're closer to the ocean in the wintertime, it's warmer than inland. And when you're closer to the ocean in the summertime, it's cooler than inland because of that moderating effect of this massive amount of ocean water. And so the shirt has the same impact. In the wintertime, it'll help keep them warm. And in the summertime, it'll help keep them cool. But of course, the most important thing is helping them stay cool because they're already a cold climate animal. So they are much better adapted to cold climates. The biggest health risk is overheating. So
Right.
I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, it does. It does. I just try to. So basically, they can wear pet parents' kids can wear the bArctic shirt in all conditions. It's most ideal for obviously extremely, exceedingly warm conditions. It's almost mandatory for those conditions, essential for those conditions. But if it's mild outside, they can still wear it. But even in the cold conditions, obviously, as you said, it can retain some heat. And also, I'm assuming there's some type of wicking material or fabric where it kind of keeps moisture off the fur of the kid as well.
It does. It's not the fabric itself is the design of the fabric helps wick, but it's a lightweight, stretchy fabric that naturally dries quickly. So if it gets wet, it doesn't stay dry for long. So even washing it, you can put it in the dryer, but it takes so little time for it to dry. If you just hang it up, it's very quick.
That's good to know. The first walk, my two Pyrenees, Hudson and Murphy, we experienced some pretty cold, inclement conditions. And someone got us some, I think they were fleece lavender snow suits, or they were flannel suits or something like that for the kids. Well, they were cute as all get out, seeing two white Great Pyrenees and lavender suits. We called them the Lavender Boys. But they just weren't very efficient. And when they got wet, man, it was soggy. They would take forever to dry. So as you know, on the road, when you're backpacking, you like to pack materials that can dry very, very quickly. Because we're all going to have some very rainy days on the road as well. So you're saying that on our day, if we start out the day and it's going to be a little bit warm, and then I put the bArctic shirt on Grayson, and then the cools down a little bit and gets moist and a bit rainy, then that's okay. Don't have to worry about taking off the bArctic shirt. I can leave it on just fine, and it should hopefully dry in the tent at night.
It'll dry within a few minutes of you taking it off, like a swimsuit, really thin, lightweight material. But I will just say, if it gets really cold and it's wet, then I wouldn't put it on. I mean, you're just going to make the dog cold. The dog would be better off being dry. Right. It's not a raincoat, in other words.
Right. We'll have a raincoat for him. So for those conditions, and I don't really think if it's very, very inclement and crazy rainy, I don't think we're going to be walking those, because Grayson, he's a rescue, and I think that he was pretty much put outside when he was a puppy, and so the thunder and the rain scares him a lot. So we're not gonna be making him walk out in the rain. But I will
tell you one thing. You bring something up about thunder. I didn't mention before that the red and near infrared light, it's the same light that's used in laser treatments by veterinarians, and it's used for a variety of health benefits. Anything from post-surgical wound healing to treating skin conditions, arthritis, and anxiety, depression. So what we've heard from a lot of our customers, and I've also seen with Audrey, is she's much more comfortable when she's in her bArctic, if it's lightning and thunder out, or during fireworks, 4th of July. We've had customers say our dog was out on the sofa with us enjoying July 4th instead of hiding under the bed, and we couldn't believe it. And so it's got that light that's just feels good to dogs. They love having the shirt on. In fact, some dogs that never like wearing anything get excited when they see their bArctic shirt come out, and they want to put it on because they know they're going to feel good.
Well, that's where I was going exactly next, because we covered the heat exhaustion conditions where it's ideal. than for cold weather conditions. And next is therapy. And I find this part of it very, very fascinating. I understand as a therapy shirt. I get that because Ginger, she comes from the shelter rescue world. And I never understood about Thunder shirts. I think, Ginger, they call it Thunder shirts. Is that correct?
That is one brand, yeah.
Okay. And so there seems to be, and I've talked to a number of people about the science behind that. It seems to be very good evidence that it's very effective for dogs that have anxiety in those kind of conditions. So I know we're going to put on the bArctic Coolvio shirt therapy for Grayson when we're at tents at night and we're enduring a rainstorm. So I can't wait to try that and see if it somewhat alleviates his anxiety, if it helps him out a little bit. But so that makes sense to me. But what's less clear to me, Linda and Remi, whoever wants to tackle this next question, is the therapy aspect of the Coolvio bArctic shirt for like inflammation and healing. So whichever one of you, break that down for us, please.
Remi, do you want to tackle that one?
It doesn't matter. I just know that I'll take it. Well, it's just because of the conversion of that red and near infrared light, as Linda mentioned, it's the same light that veterinarians use. So it helps with that. There's a variety of health benefits that light therapy can help with, and muscle inflammation is one of them. And so our shirt does the same thing. It offers a low level of light therapy treatment based on the emission of that red and near infrared light.
Well, yeah, you're exactly right. Because actually, Ginger, correct me if I'm wrong, Grayson's actually undergoing something like that through therapy for his nub. Grayson, go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, he is getting laser therapy every week that we do rehab on him. Well, I say rehab, but his exercises to condition him for the walk.
Yeah, he's an amputee. He's a rear limb amputee, and so he has a nub, and so we're training right now. And so in training, there's inflammation that's associated with it. And so I really haven't had an extensive conversation with Dr. Heather Laros about what's the science behind the anti-inflammatory aspects of the infrared light. Linda, do you know a little bit? I know neither of you are scientists, so I didn't mean to drop it on your lap. I'm not one either, and we know Dr. Gonger Morgan, even though she is a doctor, we know she's not a scientist. So none of us are scientists here. But Linda, since you are a little bit more intimate with the patent holder and the technology, do you know the underlying science about why infrared light is good for inflammation?
Yeah, so it actually goes to the cell at a cellular level. It helps the cells function optimally. And so that's why whatever cell it is, whether it's in the joints, whether it's the ligaments, it's going to support those cells functioning at their optimal way that they're meant to. And so if there is a disease or an injury, it's going to help accelerate healing and recovery from that. So inflammation is just one of the many ways that the body shows that there is a problem.
Right.
And so it goes to the core of the cells.
Right. Well, so then in our situation, then it probably would be a good thing, though, since we are going to be, walking. Grayson's not going to be undergoing considerable duress, or we're not going to be doing any extreme adventuring, but we'll be hiking 5 miles a day on any given day, maybe a little bit more if we have to make up some miles due to the weather conditions. And he will be having a wheelchair, so pulling 18 pounds of a wheelchair. So he certainly is going to have invoking the inflammatory response. So I guess probably it would be ideal for him to wear the bArctic Coolvio shirt in the tent at night, then to sleep in it, don't you think, Linda?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the shirt can be worn inside, and also it's good for any ambient lighting as well. we've had customers tell us in our reviews as well that, after their dogs have surgery, they notice a difference in their dog wearing the shirt inside their house as their dog heals with the wounds and stuff like that. So I would definitely make sure that he wears the shirt.
Do you
Get
know?
all the
Remi,
benefits.
do you all market these to the veterinarians?
We are still in a very small startup phase of the business where we're doing
Okay.
direct to consumer. And we have spoken with veterinarians, but we are not doing any wholesale as of yet.
Okay.
Well, I know the startup phase very well. I seem to be in a perpetual startup phase my entire life. Congratulations, first of all, on being entrepreneurs in this crazy economic environment. And congratulations. I believe in entrepreneurship as a way of freedom and independence, and a belief in community and greatness. And I especially love people that take and translate their passion for pets into entrepreneurship. So, but it's tough though, right? Right. The world of startup. It's not easy. So I was actually gonna get to that here in a minute about what it's like to be running a business in the post-pandemic times and having some of these supply chain problems we're gonna have. But before we get there, let's continue with the shirt, because one of the questions I have, and one of the things that Ginger and I kind of went through, was the sizing of it. Because once you know you need it, which it seems like we've done a good job of outlining the value proposition to pet parents as to why they need the bArctic Coolvio shirt, right? We know you're going to need it, and even probably mild to warm temperatures for exercising, then potentially therapeutic benefits afterwards. So we know that. So once they realize they need it, now they have to know how they're going to get it. So you do direct to consumer. So how does a pet parent, how does the sizing work? Remi, where do they go to figure out what size to get?
Yeah, so on our website, coolvio.com, there's a sizing chart. So you can, the main areas that we measure is the chest girth and the length from the collar to the back of the tailbone. And also the weight plays a factor. So on that sizing chart, when you measure your dogs, you can kind of see where their measurements falls in and pick that size. And we do have free exchanges. So let's say if you did get the wrong size, it is never a problem. You just let us know. We can either size up or size down. And we also do a money back guarantee as well, just in case, they just wanted to let you know that as well. But the sizing chart is out there, and we also have a video that explains how to measure as well. And if you if anybody ever has questions, they can also reach out to us. We'd be glad to help them measure as well.
Absolutely. Now, does the bArctic Coolvio shirt come in the taco size?
It does. It goes all the way from 3X, extra small, and then all the way up to like Great Dane, Pyrenees sizes to 3 extra large long. So we have a large range of various sizes. So
excellent. Well, I'm gonna shoot a lot of photographs and talk about Grayson's shirt on our travels and share the links and tag you guys on social media. I'm very excited and looking forward to experimenting with it and see how it works and then giving you that feedback. How long?
I will tell you that measuring Grayson for the bArctic shirt was much easier than his Neopause booties to measure. It was so funny trying to measure him for those booties.
You have to be creative. We've had some customers say they waited till their dog was asleep because they were afraid of the measure.
Well, thank goodness that Ginger didn't have to trazodone Grayson to be able to measure him, because it seems like I think that's what we had to do. Well, because we have to protect his paws too. So there's a great company. I don't know if you know Neopause. It's a wonderful Canadian company run by a woman, a female entrepreneur, Roanna. You guys would love her. She's dynamic. She's brilliant. She's bright. She loves dogs. She's just great. And she one of the things that Ginger was talking to her about is sizing the paws correctly. And we got it totally wrong. So we had to do it where we had to get it right. And in doing it, we found out that Grayson absolutely does not like to have his paws or pads touched. And he just went nuts about it. So it was like, we're going to have to trazodone him to size him for that. So it became a huge, big thing. So Ginger was not that big of a deal whenever you're trying to get his bArctic measurements.
No, it was really easy because he just loves anybody touching him. So the tape measure did not bother him at all, but it touching him except for his feet. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's insane. He just, you touch him, he's just nuts about it. But then again, he was abused as a kid. So on a serious note, actually, he does have what I would say some residual post-traumatic sort of things with the trauma he experienced with his previous pet owners. I really pause when I call them pet owners or pet parents. But I'm also curious to see, like, I'm going to watch him at the 10 at night and see if he sleeps more soundly in his shirt, because I watch how he sleeps and I listen to him sleep, and he has nightmares a lot. And I'm curious to see if he has nightmares. I'm curious if those nightmares are from his trauma, his traumatic experiences. So I'm going to actually have a diary and make notes for you guys and say, Grayson's sleeping more soundly wearing the shirt tonight. Okay, Grayson's having a nightmare. He's not wearing the shirt. So I'm gonna try to do a little bit of scientific experimentation for you guys and get that data back to you.
Love it. Love it.
Well, what is it? How long have you Remi and Linda? How long have you guys been in business? How long have you been doing this?
Well,
Remi, you start.
Like 2019, right, Linda? Has it been that
That's
long?
when the idea started, back in April of 2019. And I think officially we decided that we were going to go ahead with it by that fall. And then April of 2020, with all that COVID brought to the table and to the world, we had a Kickstarter. We were planning on doing it in May or end of April. And then when COVID hit, as Remi mentioned, I'm a CPA, so everything's scheduled around tax season in my life. So we were going to do the Kickstarter at the end of April. And when COVID hit and they extended the deadline for taxes to the middle of July, and everybody was trying to figure out what to do and what was going on, we hesitated because, we just really didn't know if it was a good idea to try and launch a Kickstarter and a brand new product in the midst of all this terrible situation that was happening. But then we saw, as everybody did, that one of the healthy activities people could do outside was walking their dogs, and everybody was home with their dogs and walking them on a regular basis. And we thought, we're actually going to be able to provide something that will help these people continue to do that as it gets warmer this summer, and instead of being stuck inside because it's too hot. So instead of filing tax returns on April 15th in 2020, we launched a Kickstarter, which happens to be around my birthday. So it was a great day.
It was a great birthday.
Congratulations and cheers to you on that. But yes, you picked the absolute worst time to pursue entrepreneurial activities and endeavors. That's for sure. But in listening to you talk, well, a couple of things based on what you said, Linda. You're absolutely right. Not only are pet parents spending a lot more time with their companions, which is a wonderful trend, but you're also seeing the more active pet. We just had somebody on our podcast recently whose name eludes me, my apologies, but we talked about the active lifestyle and pets, that you're now seeing cats that are surfboarding, dogs that are skydiving, and there's a show actually that's on too I'm thinking about as well. And so it's a good thing that pet parents now realize, hey, we're not limited to the activities that I have a passion about. And it seems like my companion has a shared passion with me about that activity. So in pursuing a more active lifestyle with our companions, it necessitates us protecting them at a much higher level. And so you are going to see a need for more gear for the active pet, like the Coolvio bArctic shirt.
I add to that,
Please.
the feedback we've received from owners of agility dogs have seen their times improved. The light helps with energy, right? So there's a lot more technical information about the science behind this on our website, and there's a page specifically devoted to that. But at the end of the day, I don't know if you remember back to high school or middle school science about the mitochondria of the cell. That is the powerhouse of the cell. That is what this light supports. So when the dog's receiving that kind of light from our shirts, they're getting all the benefits of better energy, staying hydrated longer. They have faster recovery after physical exertion. So they're staying cooler. So all of those things add up to better performance. And we've been getting that kind of feedback from our competitors out there, which is pretty awesome.
Yes, I'm so glad that you mentioned that, and it triggered a thought. I was listening to a podcast. I know it's all downhill from here on out. It's all downhill. We're in trouble now, folks. That's for sure. But I was listening to a podcast with a trainer, a scientist of some ilk, not me, clearly, and I'm going to butcher the science. And it's one of those things I made note to go back and learn more about, but of course neglected to do so. But in human training, we're talking about extreme endurance athletes. We now know that there are certain areas of the body that if you cool those areas, it cools the musculature so much faster than everything else, like the bottom of the feet. And there's a specific name for those zones that by cooling those areas where the blood vessels are, it gets colder temperatures to the core. I'm already screwing this up horribly, and my apologies to anybody that has any understanding of science. But it's legit science, and they've found that the athletes that are able to cool these specific areas of their bodies increase their performance 10, 15, 20%. And these are all high performance. So as much as or as little as I understand that I understand theoretically what they're talking about, but I can't speak to specifically what the science is. But it's legit science, and my guess is that's exactly what you're talking about as well. Do you know what I'm, Linda or Remi, do you know what I'm thinking about? And do you know the areas in dogs that I would imagine the pads would be similar as in humans, that if you cool, with humans, if you cool the feet off in humans, it could cool them down very, very quickly. Is that also true in dogs?
The dogs do sweat through their pads. It is one of the places that they do cool themselves. It's the only place they sweat. So dogs cool themselves by panting, by bringing cooler air into the body, which is why in a hot climate, it's inefficient because they don't have cooler air to bring into the body. They can also cool themselves by getting their paws into cool water or onto a cool surface. But if they have their paws on a hot surface and they're in a hot climate, they've lost their two sources of keeping themselves from overheating.
Yeah, my guess is also that the shirt also, if it has cool air and it's able to cool the air that's coming in, that they're inhaling, then that's a much cooler air that's circulated throughout their system as well. It's food for thought, and the science always intrigues me. Do you have studies specifically? I know you're new; you're only 3 years old, but how old is this patent? How long has this patent been around?
The patent's been around for several years, and the science behind it, again, on that page, we have references to multiple studies that show how this particular wavelength of light affects not only dogs, but humans at a cellular level, any animal at a cellular level. And those studies have been around and ongoing for many, many years. And it is what has led to laser treatments by veterinarians and for physicians for humans. And And so that was the inspiration, one of the inspirations for the technology. The other was, we're always wearing UV protection fabric or sunscreen to keep from getting sunburned as humans. And the inventors wanted to create, and initially they were thinking of this to be for use for humans, but they knew that there would be the potential for the application for animals because of all the other aspects that affect animals the same way it does humans. But with us not having anything to protect our skin from the sun and getting burned, when we wear sunscreen or a UV protection fabric, we're blocking out the UV light, which that's good to keep us from getting sunburn. But we're also blocking out all of the light. The light we need, the red and near infrared light, we're not getting. And there are studies going back to the industrial age that show health declining rapidly when people were working inside more. Prior to that, when we started wearing clothing and had less sunlight, it wasn't as much of an impact because we were farmers and we were outside. But then when the Industrial Revolution hit and we were working inside, there was a massive decline in overall health, and they traced it back to a reduction in this wavelength of light. So the goal was to create a fabric that was wearable, that protected from the UV light, but allowed people to get that healthy light that they need. And the cooling aspect was a byproduct of it.
Got it. But I tend to look at drivers of things, like what's going to drive sales of the bArctic shirt. And it seems to me that the increase in performance would be very, very valuable data for you. I'm a data guy, and so there are two worlds in the dog world. There's the grooming breeder world, and there's the shelter rescue world. In the grooming breeder world, you also, I guess, have the high performance, and there's money in that because it's competitive, right? And in these competitive, you have stakes, and when the stakes go up. And so my guess is that if the bArctic Coolvio shirt is indeed increasing performance 10 or 15%, then the competitors are going to have a vested interest in trying out your shirt. So I'm not trying to map out.
We would love to do a study.
I'm not trying to map out your go-to-market plan, or certainly fundraise for a study, but it would be having that data and involving the people, the biggest stakeholders, the shareholders in that, which would be the high performance activity animal people, because an increase of 10, 15, 20% is substantial. And to get the data, which wouldn't require a lot, right? You'd have, a couple of dozen of entrants, athletes, performers, and you track their performance over a period of time. And that type of just even anecdotal evidence would be tremendous, because Ginger said earlier, is who you really need to get on board are the veterinarians, because that's going to be probably the key partnership that's going to drive your fundamental business. Because even though cooling dogs down to perform better, the bigger market is heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Because if you believe in even moderate believe in the climate change, and that the earth is increasing considerably, which it is, because we know that people contribute to the ambient temperature of the earth, then it's only going to get hotter and hotter out there for our companions. The pavements are crazy hot. They're potentially damaging and destructive to the pads. And then just even 30 minutes out there at 100+ degree temperature can be deadly for our kids. And so it's impossible for us to have an active, healthy lifestyle with their companions if they're not protected. So how do we help Coolvio and you guys get your shirts in front of veterinarians? Because those are the ones that need to, because vets have this great sacred relationship with pet parents, right? On the one hand, they're the marketing. They're the ones that say, hey, this product is legit. It works. It's a good thing. But on the other hand, they're also the keeper. They're the ones protecting pet parents from the products that could potentially harm their companion animals. So how can we help you guys get the shirt out there to vets?
Well, if you know vets that are interested, have them contact us. We'd love to hear from them. And
I've made a list.
what's that?
I have a list now.
Great. We would be very interested in doing a study with some agility dogs or whatever kind of performance dogs. And like you said, anecdotal evidence is powerful. We started, from a business standpoint, speaking from a business standpoint strictly, we started with marketing the cooling aspect because we felt like that was something that all dog owners know, most dog owners hopefully know they need to be careful about their dogs overheating. And for those that weren't aware of the risks, we felt like we could be educating this hopefully small population that weren't aware of that risk. And we're sticking with that marketing messaging for now, for the most part, with the added benefit of the low level light therapy. But we definitely have moved towards trying to get the word out and get people to understand that this is, and it is a light therapy dog shirt, and it cools, but the best benefit from it is long-term overall health. And so yeah, we are right for moving in that direction, to be working with vets and doing a study of some sort to show people that are vested in the performance of their dogs.
Yeah, and even vet specialists and emergency care, critical care conditions, having it online. I was thinking about, I've got an interview with Arden Moore on Thursday, and she has, what is the name of her pet CPR, pet emergency training business? Ginger, do you remember? She has.
You would stump me. I'm like, she does 4-legged life.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the exact name. If you're not familiar with Arden Moore, we're happy to connect you with her. She's got a podcast, a much bigger podcast than we do. She's been doing it for so long, and she's just a wonderful advocate. But she's got a business that focuses on providing emergency care, CPR, and she has a kit. So it just seems like the Coolvio shirt would be one of those potentially essential things. So we're happy here at Fuzzybutts and Friends. One of the things that we like to believe that we do, even though we're young or new, is we certainly have extensive context in the business. And so we like to make connections. So we're certainly happy to connect you guys to any of the influencers out there that, like Arden Moore, that is a big advocate in protecting our companions for a whole host of emergencies. And then we're happy to certainly connect you with the veterinarians that we have on our show as well. So that's what this platform is all about, is making connections. Anything we can do for the Fuzzybutts. All right, guys, we've reached that point of the show. Remi, I'd like for you to start out. Is there anything else that you would like to convey, any message that you would like to share with pet parents out there?
Just that we are happy to have this product to help you guys spend more quality time with your dogs outside in the summer. But as Linda said, it is a year-round product to get, we want your pets to be healthy as well. So with the light therapy benefits and the cooling benefits and the UV protection, we're just happy to be able to provide this to all the dog parents out there and to the dogs.
Absolutely. Linda, what would you like to say to pet parents out there in the audience?
Well, I am one and have been all my life, and I know what they mean to me. And I don't think there's anything you can do. I don't think there's anything that I wouldn't do, let me put it that way, to try and make sure that they're healthy and enjoying their time while they're here with us. And I think that that's why we did this. I mean, as Remi mentioned earlier, we were both single moms of daughters when we got this started, both had our own businesses that we were running on top of being single moms. And then we dove headfirst into launching a new brand for a new product with a technology no one's ever heard of. So that was no simple task. And we're both happy to be doing it because we know what it's the benefit that it's bringing, that's brought to our lives, and the feedback we've gotten from customers, how much they've been just overjoyed with how it's helped their dogs and their time with their dogs.
Yeah, Ray Bradbury said it best: jumping off cliffs and building wings on the way down.
Yes, exactly.
That's what starting a business is all about. Remi, I like how you said it best. I like how you said that, and it is true here in Memphis, Tennessee, when we're down in the South and I'm traveling with the Fuzzybutts, it's very, very true, is that when it gets to a certain point in the summer, you think, okay, I've got to be active. I've got to go out and do something, but my kids can't come with me. And there's that mentality. So a good 3 months out of the year, it's all about, people being active and living the active lifestyle. But the kids, our companions, have got to stay indoors, and that sucks. Really, it really does. And the bArctic Coolvio shirt, I haven't tested it out in all sorts of conditions, but I look forward to it. But it seems like it enables pet parents to have a much bigger, more robust, active lifestyle with their pets, and for, like you said, Remi, all year round. So it's great. I can't wait to try it out. We're going to take lots of pictures from the road and share lots of stories from the road as well to share that data. I'm not sure if you're ever going to have a customer call you up and say, "Hey, I'm gonna backpack 300 miles with a 3-legged dog. You got a shirt for me that could help me out?" But I'll try to get you guys as much data as I can, especially about comforting him at night and in thunder and rainstorm conditions as well. But I would like to see about measuring the temperature, those infrared lights, because I'm curious to see how his core, his body temperature changes on the road. So let's keep the conversation going, guys, offline about how we can work together in exciting ways. All right, Ginger, we're running out of time here. So before I pass the mic over to you, since we have microphones, this is 1950s technology. Did I miss anything? Did I screw anything up?
I don't think that you did, no, but Remi, you all are offering a discount if people mention Puppy Up when they order their bArctic shirt. Is that correct?
That is correct. So if you use the code Puppy Up at checkout, the customer will get 10% off, but Puppy Up will donate another 10% off, or 10% to Puppy Up as well.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you. I thought I remembered that, but I didn't know if you wanted to mention it or not.
Yes. Yeah, no, we're very happy to do that, and glad to do that as well. So.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Any donations to the foundation Puppy Up is tremendously appreciated, very much. So thank you for donating a shirt to Grayson for Walk 3, but then giving donations to the Puppy Up Foundation additionally for that as well. And also we have the Hudson Hope Fund coming up here to treat our companions with cancer as well. And I have some potential ideas that I'd like to kick around with you guys once I finish with Walk 3. So I'm excited about that as well. One thing I did leave out, in addition to the discount, Ginger, is where we can find them online and in social media. Linda, where are you on social media?
www.coolvio.com. Coolvio, COOLV as in Victor, IO. And we have a new social media handle, Coolvio_USA. You can see the history under Coolvio Life, which is our original social media handle, but it's not accessible anymore. So reach us on Coolvio_USA. That's active. History is on the old Coolvio Life. If you want to go look at all of our events and photos of dogs, that's the best part.
Are you on? Go ahead.
Sorry, go. you can order the shirts on our website at coolvio.com.
Okay, so order from the website. The website's coolvio.com. I was just didn't mean to interrupt, but I wanted to clarify for everyone. Is that Coolvio_USA? Is that your handle on social media? And if so,
Yeah.
which one? Is that Twitter, Insta, Facebook? Which ones?
Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, so on Facebook and Instagram, you are Coolvio_USA.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to clarify. And to find out, to see wonderful pics of puppies in the Coolvio shirt and to order their wonderful product, go to coolvio.com. And Ginger, I did forget something. You're also taking the Coolvio shirt and you're applying it or translating it to the equine industry, the equine market, right? You're having a horse shirt.
We are.
Help me! Somebody help me with getting the right
product. Yeah.
You have a horse shirt coming out, correct?
Well, a couple of things. An exercise sheet. It goes behind the saddle, and it's for warm up and exercise and training.
Okay.
And then the other product that we're very interested in is a fly sheet for when horses have to be outside and the flies are just a real problem. Then this, a lot of times people just keep their horses inside with a fan on in the stall to keep the flies off of them and to keep them cool. A fly sheet we would hope would allow them to be outside and keep the flies off of them. And so we have some product development partners that are in the equine world that we've gotten some really good feedback from. And in this day and age with manufacturing, everything takes a while. So we're not quite sure when we'll be able to actually launch the products, but they're in the works.
That's good to hear. You know, I don't know if we technically can say that horses have fuzzy butts, but if you have some horses, you definitely you can have a bArctic Coolvio. At least you can enjoy the technology as well. All right, so this is the time of the show. Thank you guys so much for being a part of Fuzzybutts and Friends. This is the part of the show that I hand the mic back over to my co-host Ginger Morgan to give us a Puppy Up Foundation cancer fact of the week. Go ahead, Ginger, please.
Well, the cancer fact of the week is obviously going to be about skin cancer. So the most common is malignant melanoma. And I believe that the shirts are going to help because they are keeping out the harmful sun will help dogs not get the skin cancers. And so you need to protect your dogs out in the sun, not only from the heat, but it also protects them from the sun, which can cause skin cancer. And that's my tip of the week.
Yeah, you think since the foundation was started by me because my dog Malcolm got cancer, you think that I would have included that with the therapy part of the Coolvio shirt, protect your dogs from skin cancer. You would think I would have remembered that, Ginger. Thank you so much for remembering that. A very, very important part because
you didn't have that thought. That was not the thought that you had.
That was not, because we do know that dogs can get melanoma and that in some cases it can be very aggressive and very dangerous. So this would be just another reason to get the Coolvio bArctic shirt. All right, Remi and Linda, thank you so much for being a part of the Fuzzybutts and Friends podcast. You are indeed a friend of the Fuzzybutts, and you are welcome back here anytime. When you get the equine product up and running, or if you launch new products, you're welcome back here to talk about them. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of this episode of Fuzzybutts and Friends. Puppy up. Talk soon.
Thank you. Puppy up.
Thank you, guys.